Hello and welcome to taik18. I'm Mohammed Adnan, and in this video we are going to discuss about Dataflow Gen2 using that how we are going to ingest into Microsoft Fabric. While I'm sharing my screen, if you are new to this channel or if you haven't subscribed yet, just click on the subscribe button and also press the bell icon to get the latest notifications. Now let's get started. Ingest data with Dataflow Gen2 in Microsoft Fabric. So first of all, we'll understand about what is Dataflow. So if you are new to Power BI or Microsoft Fabric, then you need to learn about what is Dataflow. If you're already familiar with that, then still you can just watch this one because so that you can refresh your memory. So Dataflows are a type of cloud-based ETL, is extract, transform, and load tool for building and executing scalable data transformation process. So it's familiar to the Power Query in Power BI Desktop or in Excel Power Query, and familiar language with Power Query formula language, which is M language, and new unique feature and experience, which is output destination and incremental deploy, which is going to be coming soon, all provided as a seamless and well integrated service in Microsoft Fabric. So Dataflow basically it's a Power Query online engine behind the scene where you can get the data from different sources and do the transformation with the help of UI or using M language in Power Query, and then you can use it into a Power BI analytic purpose. So that was the data flow actually. Now when it comes to Dataflow Gen 2, which is the Gen 1 and Gen 2, what is the difference between that? So it includes auto save and background publishing feature. That's really amazing thing because previously when you work on Dataflow, you need to publish that. If you are in middle of the process or anything else, then you need to publish and then you need to reopen again. But here in this case, you can also work on that. And if something goes wrong, you want to close your browser. In that case, it will auto save your every steps behind the scene so that you can reopen again and work from there before publishing into your environment in your workspace. Right. Add the ability to specify data destinations, separating ETL logic from destination storage. This is really one of my favorite feature in Dataflow Gen 2, that with the help of UI, we are getting the data from different sources, and then we do all kind of transformation and load it into different destination. Like for example, we are getting the data from IoT devices or for example, any of their sources. And then we're doing transformation based on our need and loading into different destinations like data warehouse or data mart or lakehouse. That's an amazing feature. And it supports high scale compute integrated with data pipelines and provides improved monitoring and refresh history. So we can add the data flow into the pipeline activity so that we can have orchestrate our data movements inside the pipeline. So understand Dataflow Gen2 in Microsoft Fabric. In our scenario, you need to develop a data model that can standardize the data and provide access to the business. For example, you're getting data from different sources into Dataflow Gen2 and then load the data into Dataflow destination, which is the lakehouse. And then from lakehouse, you can create a semantic model and build a report on top of that. If you're watching this video, I hope I covered some of the things in my previous video, like loading into a destination as the lake house, and from lake house you can build your own semantic model and build Power Report on top of that. But Dataflow Gen 2 we are going to look into in this demo. All right, so data store operations options which we have it on Dataflow destinations is as of now it's only we have a data warehouse, lake house, data mart, and KQL database event house. But in future it may add something also in future. But for now, if you look into this structure, the lakehouse, if I talk about that, we have unlimited data volume and we can store unstructured, semi-structured or structured data. And we need to have a language of multi-speciality. Anyone we can use that. Not you need to learn everything, but any one of them you can make use of that, like PySpark, Spark Notebook, or Spark SQL or language. So access data via shortcut, yes, it is possible. Files and tables also. So when you look into the holistic picture here, then data warehouse and lakehouse are kind of best feature where you can use, but ultimate choice is lakehouse in that case. So Dataflow Gen 2 workload experience here in Power BI and Microsoft Fabric looks like the same what we usually see in Power Query in Power BI Desktop or Excel. The look and feel of UI might be a little bit different, but overall, if you look into that, everything remains the same. But Microsoft is working on behind the scene that it can have a seamless UI, look and feel, UX, everything between Excel, Power BI, and Dataflow. So on the top, you can see the first one, which is the get data. We have a ribbon menu, which usually have in Office 365. where we have an option about we can add columns, transform the data, filter rows, and other stuff. We can do it over there. On the left hand side, we have the query panes where we'll get the list of the parameters, the tables, the list queries, and everything we are getting here. And the third one is one, if you're not familiar with the actions from the top menu, you can also right click on this one. You can visually drag and drop, which we call it as visual editor. You can visually do all kind of stuff what you want to do from the menu option here. And the fourth one is the actual data storage, which is basically the canvas of your table, where each and every step is going to show you the result, how the outcome will be look like. On the left hand side, on the right hand side, is the fifth one, which is the query settings, where it actually keeps a track of each and every steps, whatever you have done for the following table. So that's about the Dataflow Gen 2. And Dataflow Gen 2, we can integrate this with data pipelines in Microsoft Fabric. So that's a great activity. And how you can do that, I will just show you in the next slide. But before that, here we have a Dataflow copy activity or Spark. So there is a decision we need to make which activity, which thing we need to use based on our use cases here. So there is a different documentation available from Microsoft. I will try to add that in the video description so you can refer in the future videos on that. So here, for example, if the use case is data lake and data warehouse, data migration, data ingestion, lightweight transformation, and everything, you can use pipeline activity for that. And if you want to data ingestion, data transformation, data wrangling, data profiling, you can use Dataflow Gen 2. And if you're going to use data ingestion, transformation, processing, and profiling, you can use Spark. It looks like everything looks similar, itself, right? But if you further go down the use cases, the primary developer, if you have a data engineer, data integrator, then you can use pipeline. If you have a data engineer, data integrator, data analyst, business analyst also can use business Dataflow Gen 2. And for Spark, even data scientists can also make use of that. If you are a company, those who just want to integrate with Fabric and you don't have a data engineer, data integrator, only you have a business analyst or data analyst, then you can go ahead with Dataflow Gen 2 to start with that. So the primary language is you need to learn about SQL for pipeline, JSON, and ETL. So ETL for an M and SQL for Dataflow Gen 2. And for Spark, it's only the Spark language. It can be Spark Scala, Spark Python, Spark .NET, or Spark SQL. So the code written is no code or low code and no code or low code. And for the Spark, you need to have a coding language on that. So when it comes to these three technologies, if you ask me which one we need to use, Spark is the ideal choice for that. Even though this video is about Dataflow Gen 2, but if you're working for a large data, then Spark is the ideal choice for that. I've seen the performance of between these three things. Spark actually plays a major role in order to do the transformation processing faster compared to the pipeline and Dataflow Gen 2. Now, what are the step sequence which is happening here? So pipelines are the sequence of activities. So first of all, if you look into this sequence order, you have a pipeline, and inside to that you can orchestrate the process, which is kind of activity. So activity data set and data flows can be managed within the pipeline. And inside to that, we can have a data flow as a kind of activity which performs the ETL and creates new data sets. And from that, we can build a report copy on top of that, which is a semantic model here. So we can have a pipeline, and inside of that, we can add multiple activities. And activities is one of them is the data flow. And after the data flow, we can create a data set and copy semantic model to build a report on top of that. So this is how you can integrate the Dataflow Gen 2 inside to a pipeline in Microsoft Fabric. So create a pipeline, and inside of the activity, you have multiple options where data flow is one of the actions. So you can click on activity or data flow, and from there you can add data set semantic model on that. So that's all about the overall presentation for this ingest data using Dataflow Gen 2 in Microsoft Fabric. Now we'll have a look into a demo and we'll see in that one. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, just click on the subscribe button and also press the bell icon to get the latest notifications. See you in the demo. Hello and welcome to taik18. I'm Mohammed Adnan, and now we are going to talk about the demo on how to create a Dataflow Gen 2 in Microsoft Fabric. This is similar to the experience what we have it on Dataflow in Power BI, but additional features also is there. So in Microsoft Fabric, Dataflow Gen 2 connects to various data sources and perform transformations in Power Query online. They can then be used in data pipelines to ingest data into lakehouse or other analytical stores, or to define a data set in Power BI report. This lab design for this one, we can make use of that. Like regular thing, we need to use the workspace here, and then we need to create a data flow here. So right now I'm into data factory here workloads. If I click on that data factory and click on new, I have Dataflow Gen2 also. Right now I'm into my Power BI workspace in the Fabric workspace here. In the Power BI workload, I need to go to data factory here, and here we have option about Dataflow Gen2. So clicking on that one, I need to give it a name, and it's going to open up this one. So first of all, I need to get the data from a different sources. So where I need to give information here. So for example, you need to click on the home tab. If I expand this one, I have a get data here, and then from I need to click on more options, and I need to select the data source which I want. In this case, I just want to use the HTTP connections, where you can select the use of the web API, or you can also use the OData in that case. And here, it depends actually on how you are going to use that. So in my case, I just use here the text or CSV file, which is coming from the GitHub here. And then it's going to click on OK here. Now, if I again go back to this one, text or CSV option, and it's going to open up the window. I need to specify the path here, and then I can also select from my OneDrive location here. This is how it will look like. And after that, once this is loaded into this one, this is how it will look like. And this Power Query is smart enough in order to do some kind of initial steps for the transformations. Like if I minimize this ribbon here, and here I have option about promote headers and also the change data type. Everything has done at the initial step automatically by Power Query engine itself. And after that, if I want to do any kind of transformation, I can also do that. So here in this case, I just use here insert month here. So this can be done by right clicking on this column. I can duplicate that, and also I can make use of the option to insert a month here. So how I did that? So basically, I just click on the add a column onto this one. And then here on the top, we have the date, and then we have a month and month column here. So you can click on that, then it's going to add a new column as a month column inside to this one. So what is the next step I have? I just can also change the data type of that. So if I click on this step, and by default, it has given us 1, 2, 3 here. And if I want to change data type of any other column, I can also select that. So for example, the order date here in this case, if I go to the previous step in Power Query, because I don't want to go in deeper about the Power Query steps here, because the reason is I have plenty of videos available for the Power Query thing, how you can do that. Because Power Query, Dataflow Gen2, this transformation, everything comes into the same thing, similar thing itself almost. So that's why these are all the kind of steps which you can adopt. And then if you want to change the data type of that, you can also click here and change the data type of each and every column here. So these are all some small transformations which I did. And at the bottom, you can see we have a data destination. This is one of the cool feature of Dataflow Gen2 here, which is really, really powerful thing. Because if I click on this one settings, I can connect to the lakehouse and then do the destinations. But if we want to look for other things, like what are the destination which we have, we need to click on the plus sign. It will come appear only here when we don't have any destination. So clicking on this one, as of now, it just supports Azure SQL, database, lakehouse, data explorer, and warehouse here. So if you have Fabric, then we can use the lakehouse and warehouse in this case. That's beautiful thing. So I'm going to select this lakehouse here, and it's going to ask me connection. And after that, this will pick up automatically. We don't need to pass any credentials here. And here this is going to give me the list of available lakehouses, and this is the available workspace which I have. So in this case, I'm going to select this one. And after that, it's going to give me lakehouses, whatever I have it on my workspace here. For example, if I select on this one and then click on next, a new table will be created in the lakehouse here. If we have an existing table, then it will pick up automatically. On the top also, we have option about new table or existing table here. If it is an existing table, then we need to select the existing table within that lakehouse here. So clicking here and clicking on the next. So it's just checking about whether this is there or not. Because sometimes we may make mistake about if the table is existing there, but still we select as a new table. So in that case, so here also the same thing like we discussed on the previous video about the data pipeline. So it is taking automatic settings here, and then we can define that one option. If you turn off this option, then we have option about you want to append the data or you want to replace the data every time for the destination on that. Because every time if you want to refresh the Dataflow Gen2, then it's going to load the data into the destination. So how you want to load the data into the destination? You want to append that or you want to replace that? So here in this case, it has to be replaced. And the schema has to be dynamic, or you want to use a fixed schema. Actually, this has to be fixed schema itself. And here we have a source, but the destination, we don't have a control to change the data type, like how we have the flexibility in data pipeline, but here we don't have that flexibility here. Anyway, you can just click on the save settings, and then it's going to save our settings and everything. And when we refresh our data set after publishing this, then it's going to get the data from the CSV, do the transformation, and load it into the destination. That is what is going to happen on that. And then we need to have option about publish, and then we have option about publish later here. That's a beautiful thing, because if you're working something else and you have to stop this work at the moment, and then you have to do other steps, also you're not sure about you want to complete this today or tomorrow. In that case, you can just save this as a draft, and then you can work again tomorrow, finalize your thing, and then publish it back again. So that's a beautiful thing here in Dataflows Gen2, another one. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this video, just hit the big thumbs up button. If you're new to this channel or if you haven't subscribed yet, just click on the subscribe button and also press the bell icon to get the latest notification. But make sure to turn on the notification on your devices. Share it with your friends and colleagues. If you have any queries and feedback, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Keep learning. See you in the next video.